Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing? Sandra Sheffer, host of Racing the Races. I have a special guest on today because if you saw the topic of the show, first I wanted to talk about whether or not we all believe that Kamala is going to be president, like what that's going to look like. And then, of course, Broward County School Board always finding a reason for me to go ahead and talk about them, even though the show wasn't created to talk about the school board, but the school board is of such significance right now that we end up finding ourselves having to talk about them time and time again. I have a special guest on, and I've actually interviewed Jimmy Witherspoon before a few times. He ran for school board District 5 in 2020 during the 2020 cycle. So I have if you go and check out our YouTube channel, which I want you to go ahead and subscribe to it, I'm going to drop the link in the chat. I interviewed him back in 2020 when he was running for school board. Always been a very active member in the community, well known by many. So before I continue this conversation, I definitely want to give him an opportunity to introduce himself to the watching audience.
Well, thank you today for allowing me to come on. I'm excited, and of course, you do a great job doing what you do. And hold on, let me do this. Let me wish you a happy birthday.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna say anything, but yes. Thank you, Lord, for letting me see another year and have another, run circle around the sun. So yes. Thank you so much. Yes, today is my birthday. I'm not going to tell you how young I am. Yes, today is my birthday. Thank you, Jimmy.
You're welcome. My name is, like she said, Michelle said, I am Jimmy Witherspoon. I am a employee with the Broward County School Board. I've been an employee for 20. This is my 22nd year with the district, and I'm currently the brace advisor at Dillard High School. I love the school district. I love what I do in the district, and I'm just great to be a part of this district, and definitely the thriving of the district. It's definitely going to get better. I believe so. When we have great people like such as ourselves on and trying to identify different issues and different things that the district is dealing with, and we're looking forward to making sure that those things are seen by many. So thank you for allowing me to come on today to be with you all.
Yes, definitely. So, we had elections a couple of weeks ago. I was one of the people that was looking for some change on the school board. I wanted them to definitely have some people stay because I think even though they may not be like, popular because of the county that we live in, they were actually doing some good work. So I wanted to, kind of see some of them stay on the board, and then, the other incumbent stayed, and then we have two new board members, one out of seat 1. We have a new a member coming out of that seat. And then we have, what's the other one? So Mara came on, and then seat 2 has a new member. So the two appointees from the 2022 cycle, there were elections and they have folks that won those seats. So seat 1 was the seat that actually Rod Velez won, but he was unable to take that seat. Daniel Fogenholly was appointed, and then he had to run for that seat, and then Mara Bowman ended up winning that seat. However, Daniel Fogenholly got appointed to the Board of Education, so I think he came out a winner in that one.
Yes, he did.
I think he came out a winner in that situation. And then, of course, seat 2, those were those folks that got that grand jury got them kicked out. I think Patty Good had seat 2.
Yes.
Tori Alston was appointed. He ran for the seat and didn't get it. And Rebecca Thompson is going to take that seat in November, right?
Yes.
There were a lot of issues surrounding that. And I know one of the issues that was coming up was that whole idea of teacher raises, right? There were some people that was upset that BTU was able to get raises for teachers, but nobody else.
Yeah.
And so that's an issue. So I think that's kind of how I bring you into this conversation, because you were one of those individuals that's supposed to be represented by the union, but from what I understand, didn't get a raise. I know Tori Alston was advocating to say, like, what about the other people? And folks ain't want to hear that. They just was worried about the teachers, and and BTO got that issue, and then they have a certification thing that's going on right now. So talk to me. You are a union steward, been part of the school system for like 22 years. What has your experience been? What are your expectations for this board that's going to be seated in November?
Well, first of all, I definitely want to start with what you said as it relates to the union and as it relates to our raises. The teachers, and this is nothing, against the teachers. I love the teachers. My sister's a teacher. My sisters are administrators, and I have a relationship with a lot of teachers within the school district. Um, um, Tori Austin, he did a good thing. I believe he was doing a great thing because I looked at the meeting because the other night on our steward meeting, they played the meeting when Tori Austin voted against the raises, but he made it perfectly clear why he was voting against it because he wanted to share to make sure that everyone had and the question, hold on, this is what it is. The question that he asked to everyone was, do we have enough to give everyone the same, to split it equally? That was the question that he asked. See, everyone is saying that Tori Austin is taking away from the teachers, taking away from the, doesn't want the teachers to have the raises. No, he didn't say that. He wanted to make sure that everybody, all of our ESPs, the TSPs, and the CSPs and the TPs, he wanted to make sure that everyone was able to have a piece of that upcoming raise. So and then so they did end up giving the teachers a raise, which and they are the EPs, educational professional. They're the EPs, and so
Mhm.
gave them their raise. As of now, this is a new school year. We have not. I am an ESP. We have not been given a raise. They just started to send out us some correspondence that they will be uh, going back into negotiations on this Friday. We just received an email that they're
Mhm.
back into negotiations this Friday for last year's raise. So we all summer long, nothing about the ESPs or any of the other bargaining units within BTU about the raises. So I mean, I'm upset because we work hard. A lot of the we're behavioral techs, a lot of our teachers assistants, a lot of our behavioral support staff, they work hard as well. And the problem is no one is standing up. No one is standing up for us. No one is speaking out for us. But everybody else is getting raises, and the BTU, they're getting funded well. If you look at their financial statement, but here it is again, the ESPs and the other units are being left behind.
So who is it that's responsible? So first of all, what does ESP stand for? If you could, for those of us that doesn't have that educational background to to
Education,
know what that means.
educational support professional.
Okay, so who is it that's responsible for getting raises for ESPs?
The ESPs, we have a direct person whose name is Roosevelt McClary. He's the vice president. He took Bernie Kemp's position after which there was no election for. They just put him in there, which should have been a whole election, and they didn't do that wrong.
They
BTU,
did that wrong, or they didn't do it wrong?
they didn't. They did it wrong.
Okay.
There was no election. Other people, if anyone wanted to maybe um, be in that position, but they just put him automatically in the position. So after Bernie Kemp retired, so because Roosevelt was the secretary of Broward Teachers Union, so since he was already there, they moved him in the position without asking or getting our other ESPs in on that.
Okay, and so he's the person that's connected with the union that's supposed to help negotiate raises and advocate for ESPs?
Him, and along with there are other people.
Okay.
I know those persons who are part of that committee this year, and
Mhm.
along with the BTU president as well, Anna Fusco.
Okay. All right. And so you're saying that they're scheduled to start negotiating on Friday for raises that should have taken place last year,
For
right?
last year. Yes.
So based on what we know about the current financial situation of Broward County Public Schools, I mean, we know some things. We know that they're paying back some money to charter schools, that they have some facility stuff, and these monies may come from different pots, so I don't understand all of the different dynamics, but it does appear that there might be some, they might have some money problems because they got to pay back over $100 million to charter schools. Is
That's
there money in that budget that can actually accommodate um, raises for ESPs or anybody else?
I don't know if it is. I really can't say. But just as well as they found money to support the teachers, they need to find money to support every other bargaining unit within our school district. I mean, it's really not fair to be able to give to just the teachers, and then you have other people who don't make according to where they should be making, and it's just not fair. It's not a good look for the district, and I hope that our current superintendent is looking at these things, because you have a lot of bus drivers, you have secretaries, you have our clerical secretaries, the teachers, assistants, and that behavioral techs that are working hard and tirelessly, bus drivers, and they're being forgotten.
Okay. And so with that being said, do you think that the board that we have right now, or the one that's going to get sworn in November, because if they can't get everything worked out by November, there'll be two additional new board members that's coming on and two that are leaving. What are your expectations of there being some sort of favorable resolution for all the other bargaining groups in the district?
At this point, and seeing what I've seen from the outside, well, from looking in, from where I'm sitting and where I'm standing at now and looking in, I don't think that it's going. I think the same. We're going backwards. I see us going backwards because I feel that some of the board members are in with the Broward Teachers Union president. I believe that they're.
That's a serious accusation.
Oh, yes, it is, because let me tell you how, I know you don't receive the emails, but we receive emails from the Broward Teachers Union. I'm a steward, and let me say this publicly, that I love the union, but I dislike different things that are taking place within our union as it relates to the leadership, and our president that we currently have.
Okay. And when you say you're a steward, what does that mean? What
Uh,
does the steward do?
a union steward is one that represents, if something happens at my school with any of the other ESPs, I am the contact person or the point person at the school that goes in on behalf of any of those other ESPs.
Okay, thank you for explaining that to the listening audience, the watching audience. Okay. All right. So go ahead. You can continue what it is that you were saying about what this gonna look like with these board members.
So what happens is, apparently, when our union does not like a particular person, we end up as stewards, as members, receiving emails from our our president about those individuals once a week, twice a week. I mean, it just varies. However she's feeling and what's going on that particular week, we're going to receive emails about those particular people. Uh, and
What do you mean? Email state keeping the union updated on what's going on, or is it something that's outside of that?
Well, what's going on, and then on the other side, talking negative about those individuals.
Oh.
Last one of the most current emails that we received was about Tori Austin and Brenda Fain, about them not supporting, um, uh, getting rid of them not supporting teachers' raises, and just negative about those two individuals. Now, when the elections took place, we received emails about everyone that they were supporting as the teachers union. Everyone in the teachers union does not support those individuals that they're trying to get us to support. We pay our money just like everyone else in the union. We don't have to support those individuals, but we're constantly receiving emails from our current president about individuals who to support and why we shouldn't support any other one,
I
any
mean,
other.
so they endorse. So aren't they allowed to let the if they're endorsing a particular candidate, because they, I know for sure that there were a few of the candidates that were saying that we are endorsed by BTU. So if they're endorsed by BTU, that endorsement, the expectation of that candidate is that they're gonna try to get their members to vote for them. So isn't that standard?
Yeah, it is something that has come up. I mean that they do, but I mean if you're gonna do that, get the other members involved, get the stewards involved, and see who everyone likes or see who everyone wants to go with. Don't just pick a person based on them being someone that you like.
Oh, is that okay? So now I understand. So you're saying that the decisions to support a particular candidate came from upper management in BTU, and not it wasn't a decision that their entire union like voted on to say yes, this is the person that we want to support.
It's never been like that. We have
Okay.
never gotten together and said, okay, well, members, how do you all feel as it relates to candidates? They form their own opinion without getting others involved, and that's not good. I
Mm, I,
mean, that's not, it's not a good feeling.
I understand that. So there's a question in the chat from Carla Michelle. She's saying, she said, wanted to be clear if this was a specific union issue versus a non-union issue. Again, forgive me if I'm not familiar with how unions work. Oh no, that's the wrong comment. She wanted to know whether or not ESPs who were not part of the union, did they get raises? Was it just people who were in the union that were
No,
not able to get a raise?
no, no one, even if they're not in the union, they'll receive the raise, but they have not received the raise as well. No.
Because nobody else got it and it wasn't negotiated for anyone.
Yes, only the
Okay.
teacher.
All right. I hope that answers your question, Ms. Carla Michelle. All right. So you're saying they said they're gonna start trying to work on it on Friday. Hopefully they'll be able to find some money somewhere. I don't know how you find money, unless you're like, hopefully they go and advocate and maybe get some funding from some source that will allow the rest of you all to get raises. But what is your specific issue with the union? Is there something that happened recently that, because I was on your Facebook page and I saw some video that you was upset about something.
Oh
So
my God, yes.
let's talk a little bit about that.
I am. I'm. I'm very disappointed. Let me say this. I'm very
Okay.
disappointed in our leadership, and I've been the type of person where I've spoken that I've voiced my opinion always, in the last couple of weeks, more so now than ever, in our leadership as it relates to the union president. I have information that is definitely factual, that the union was in trouble as it relates. We have not been decertified, as of we have not been decertified or anything like that. But the union uh, did go below the 60% mark, and this happened in the month of April. April of this year. That came out that the union had went below the 60% mark, and
And
so
so
this
what does that mean? Does that mean that
in
60% of the employees are supposed to be a part of the union?
Yes, they
Okay.
did into the union. Um,
Okay.
if they're not, if we're not within that 60% mark, we are in jeopardy of losing the certification for the Broward Teachers Union.
Mm-hmm.
So the president, she knew this. I know this for a fact, via, because of some things that happened, that she did know this, that we were in jeopardy. She never, not once, came to the stewards, came to those members, and told us that we were in jeopardy of being decertified. Now, let me say this.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. You're
No,
getting
no, go ahead, finish. I'll write my question down and ask you.
Okay, yeah. So she never came, never told us anything. It came up in August, where I started to recently to put it out there, to voice it, to let people know what's really going on, and then calling for her immediate removal. We need someone that's going to be transparent, and not just for a particular group, are just the teachers. But if you're the Broward Teachers Union president, you fight for every bargaining unit, not just for every unit within BTU, not just for our teachers. And so I've been voicing it for the last couple of weeks, that we need that, calling for her resignation. And I'm still definitely up for that, and looking for her, and asking that those members that are part of the union come and pull together so that we can remove her and get her out of here.
Okay,
But
so let me ask a question, and I want you to find a way to hold your thought. So
okay,
you were saying that it was determined back in April that the union had fallen below the 60%, and that wasn't communicated to members of the union. So if it was communicated, was there anything that you all could have done to get them to that 60%? Because sometimes you don't want to alarm folks and create an issue if it's something that they would have to be the ones to fix. So if she did tell you, what is it that you as a steward or other stewards could have done to rectify the situation?
well, I believe that we, probably could have at least gotten together, those members, and pushed even more. Hey, we're here. We're at this particular mark. Let's see what we can do. Let's get those pledge cards. Let's get more cards to people that can go out and just get, and work what we needed to do, because we need the certification in order to stay a union. So it's just a matter um, of being transparent.
Okay, so you guys could have tried to get other people to sign off on the cards to get to the 60%.
Yes, because we're paying our money. We're continuing to pay our money, but here it is. We're in jeopardy of losing something. So, if we don't know what we need to do, especially as stewards and as members, if we don't know, maybe this person can talk to that particular person. Maybe this person can talk to them. So it's just a matter of being transparent with those that are a part of the union.
Okay, and you're saying that you also said that you are calling for the removal of the union president, and I didn't hear you say her name, and I don't want to say it, so I want you to, if you want to say her name, you can go ahead
We're
and
call,
say the name, just so I don't make no mistakes.
we're calling for the removal of the union president for Broward Teachers Union, Anna Fusco. She is currently the president, and we're definitely calling. I am, and I know that there are others that are in agreement with me, but we're definitely calling for her removal.
Are you familiar with the process and how that would happen? Like, do you know what you would need to do or what would need to happen in order for her to be removed from that position
Well,
outside of an election
um,
or
we're
something?
we're definitely, we have people that are involved in on the process, that's trying to help us to make sure that we get the understanding of what we need to do, as it relates to starting that particular process.
Okay. And do you think it's because she's the president that the membership has gone below the 60%? Or is it just that, people can't afford stuff anymore? I mean, there was a time where the union dues were automatically deducted. Now people have to pay it themselves. Maybe, people don't know how to pay it themselves. They don't remember. Is that it? Or is it just that people aren't in support of the current president and that's why they're not joining the organization? What are your thoughts?
All three. all
All of it?
all three of those. We have people that are a part of the union that are there because of other people. That's one. We have people that are a part of the union that that are not a part of the union, but they because they dislike Anna Fusco, the current union president, and they dislike her leadership style. And then, of course, some people just can't afford it. So, and without receiving those raises, that's those are three things that people are dealing with, and and they're not at that particular point. So, it hurts coming out of their check, and out direct deposit at one point.
Oh, we lost. Okay, he's coming back in, y'all. It be some internet stuff happening. He's coming in. I'm about to add him back to the stage. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Oh,
You're back on the stage. Go ahead. You can speak.
you get okay. So,
Yeah, you're back.
okay. So, we're, they're unable to pay that. So it's just difficult now, as it relates to. So those are the main three things. Some of them just like Anna, some of them can't afford it, and then they're just not in it. They're for some particular reason.
Okay. Now, so the video that you posted, you said you were removed from a meeting because of some comments that you made. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes. So, I was in the process, or I've been in the process of making sure that those that are part of the union know exactly what's going on with BTU. But since we have not been given the information, or not being able to receive the information. So what I did is I've been posting stuff. I've been letting them know, hey, we were in jeopardy of losing this and being losing this. So the day after I made the comment, there was an article that came out in, I think it was Red Broward, and it talked about because it talked about the school board union being decertified, and I shared the post and put something up under it as it relates to this is the transparency that we're not getting, and see, everybody, once it came out, they knew I was telling the truth because it was already there. That was just confirmation to my post uh, about us being decertified. That was confirmation there. So she called, Anna Fusco called for a meeting based on those things that were posted.
So your post on Facebook made them call a whole meeting?
Called a whole union steward meeting.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm like, yeah, okay. I can't wait to see. I want to know what she gonna talk about. So I'm in the meeting, and one person comes on while we're in the thick of the meeting, and says, Anna, I'm not comfortable with him being on this meeting as a steward and posting false narratives about the Broward Teachers Union and not liking the union. Not one time since I've done anything with the school district or even with the union, I've said that I dislike the union. Not one time. I'm not going to pay my money to anything that I don't like because my money's going there. The union has supported me in certain things. So after I did that, we're on, and I immediately came off of out of the well came showed my face on the camera so they can see me, and they saw my name was on there. So I was there, and I immediately said, hold on 1 minute. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me say this. I love the union. and I love being a part of the union. But what I don't like is the lack of transparency and the leadership that we currently have. And so from there, it was a whole uproar. They deleted me, removed me from the meeting. The union president, um, Anna Fusco, removed me from the meeting. And I don't know if they continued with the meeting, but I was removed from the meeting.
Yeah, once they kick you, and if it was a Zoom, once they kick you out, you can't come back in that day. You might be able to
Okay.
come back another time, but you can't come back in a meeting once they kick you out. Once they kick you out of the Zoom. So,
They
yeah.
kicked me out.
Were you able to find out what else was discussed in that meeting once you were moved from there?
Not once I was removed, but I did get a lot of calls from people that were. It was almost like 200-300 of us on there. So there were a lot of stewards that were on there that was disappointed in Anna Fusco, um, because someone disagrees with you, you don't remove them from a meeting. You know, I mean, I paid my money just like every other person on that meeting. I pay my money as well. So if I have a disagreement against you, that means that I dislike the union. No, that doesn't mean that. But like I said, I disagree and I dislike her ways as it relates to leadership.
Okay.
And there were some
Now,
that took
go ahead.
as well. Yeah. So that oh my God, it was some other things that took place later on that evening. And this is what really hurts me, because after I got out of the meeting, I did make a post on social media about sticking up for my rights and being a union steward, and I said I was disappointed in Anna, and I told her, I said, we're Anna, we're coming after you as it relates to your position, and asking that you be removed, and that nothing physical, nothing saying I'm coming to her house, was doing anything of that sort. I'm not that type of person, but I guess she thought that I was that type of person physically, and I was going to come and get her or something. I don't know what she thought. So at 11:45 p.m., my wife and I we're sleeping, son sleeping. We received a bang, bang, bang on the door. It's Broward County Sheriff's Office. Um, do
She
you
called the
own a
police
gun?
on you?
She called BSO on me. Um, do I have? They asked me, do I have a gun? Um, do I plan on hurting Anna Fusco or anyone else, for that matter? I'm asleep. I'm scared. My wife, my
Wow.
family, scared. And I mean, I'm nervous because here it is. Their hands, these officers, their hands are on their gun at my door,
At
and I'm
11:45 p.m.
11:45 at night. My heart is beating, and I don't I'm I'm scared to open the door. So and that's what took place on that evening.
And so when the police came to your house, what is it? What did they say to you? This you,
Well,
you said that they asked you, did you have a gun? Are you
they
planning on harming anyone? How far did that question and investigation go?
thank God it wasn't that long. The deputies did say that they didn't find any calls, so that they end up leaving. I did ask for a police report, so I can get one later on, but there was no calls, or they didn't feel that I was going to hurt someone. First of all, I'm asleep at 11:45 at night, and getting ready for Friday, for the next day, to go to work.
Did you make it to work the next day after being woke up in your sleep?
I I didn't make it home. I got up that morning, and I got up that morning, So I'm getting ready for work, and I'm thinking that this is all over, and I'm getting up, preparing to go to work, and here it is. I receive a phone call. I receive a phone call
From the
from
police again?
no, it wasn't the police. I
Okay.
received a phone call from the principal of my school, my job, where I work at, and where I've been for 17 years. Now, this is his first year at Dillard High School, and I've been there for 17 years. That's no reason, but he can do what he wants to do. But I get a phone call from him at 7:45, around 7:25, something like that, telling me that the superintendent called him and told him for me not to report the work
Which
pending an
superintendent?
invest.
The superintendent that the new superintendent of schools?
The new superintendent of schools told him for
To
Jimmy
tell you,
Witherspoon to tell me not to report the work. They're pending an investigation.
did he explain
Uh,
to you what the nature of the investigation was?
he didn't say anything. He didn't say what the investigation was about. He didn't say nothing was said. He hung up the phone. So immediately, of course, I get on the phone and I call the board members that I have a relationship with. I called four of them, to be exact, and they called Dr. Fulton because
And what's her
the
role? What's that? Because some of us may not know who was Dr. Fulton and what's her role in the school board that she would be the person that they would call.
she is I don't know, I forgot, I don't know the direct um
Title that
um
she has?
I,
Okay.
I know she is second in command,
Okay, so she works closely with the superintendent.
closely with the superintendent. But
Okay.
let me go back to this, because when I called those individuals, those board members, when I called them and I told them the story of what took place, they immediately told me that the superintendent was out the country.
I mean, he could have called from his out the country vacation to tell that man for you not to go to work, Jimmy. That's not impossible. We have the people got international calls. He might be able to afford roaming charges.
I don't know, but he
He
called
might have a
and
good he might have a good plan with his phone company that he could make an international call or to, to
they're trying to figure
tell
out
you not to come to work.
they're trying to figure out what's going on, why he did this. So or Dr. Fulton, the second person, the point person, and from my understanding, she calls Ernie Lozano. Ernie Lozano, who is the safety um, safety chief person for the district. He runs the safety, and he immediately calls me.
So if there was an investigation, it would go through him, his office,
It will go
Ernie.
to him,
Okay.
and well, that's not even the protocol with removing a staff member. So my principal did it the wrong way. That's not the protocol. The protocol for removing a staff is that particular staff member would come to work, SIU would come out, they would sit down, share what's going on, the process, and they would tell you that you're not to report back to the campus, but you would report to a off-campus site pending an investigation. SIU does that. Principals don't do that.
Mm, okay.
So
So why your principal did that though?
I'm still trying to find out who told him,
Mm.
because after speaking with him yesterday, he still yesterday he I spoke with him and he tells me he don't know who told him.
He doesn't know who told him.
Yes. So he has two different stories. One, he doesn't know who told him, and then one, the superintendent told him.
But the
So
superintendent that wasn't in the country told him.
that's the one that told him. So I got to go back because I want you to get the clear picture. So
Mm-hmm.
after Dr. Fulton calls Ernie Lozano, Ernie Lozano then gives me a call, calls me and tells me, Mr. Witherspoon, there was a mistake. You can report the work. There's nothing. There's no investigation. You are clear to go to work. So I waited for a few minutes, and I wanted to see, because I asked him. I said, "Well, did you speak to my principal?" He said, "Yes, I did speak to your principal." I waited a few minutes, and I wanted to see if my principal was going to reach back out to me the same way that he called me and told me I could not come to work.
So you want him to tell you to come to
I,
work?
I wanted to hear it from him. First of all, I wanted to hear an apology.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, he has not apologized to me.
I
I,
mean, he said somebody told him, Jimmy, what do you got to apologize to you for? Somebody told him to tell you not to come to work. That man, they wake up that morning and say, don't come to work.
Somebody told him.
But he don't know who it is, though.
He don't know who it is. So, you
It's
know,
a somebody.
somebody. But I got dressed, went to work that morning. Ended up going to work that morning, and I went by his office as soon as I got to school so that he can see my face.
Mm-hmm.
Made it my business so that he can see me and that I was on campus. I went around to my office, and I had a nervous breakdown.
Sorry to hear that.
I was thinking about what took place the night before with the police, then thinking about him calling me, telling me I can't report to work. This is my income. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to lose my job. I have my family. I go around to my office, put my head down on the desk. I pass out.
Oh.
They had to call EMT. Um, I felt like I was having a heart attack. I'm dizzy, and it was just so much. It was unbearable the way I was feeling. And it's just when you receive that much of information and about something that you didn't do to hinder or to hurt anybody, but just trying to make things better, and and seeing people call you and tell you this and tell you that's a lot to deal with.
No, that's a very intense 24 hours. I mean, you get kicked out of a meeting, the police show up to your house a few hours later, you get a call after you wake up to don't go to work, you go to work, and then they acting like nothing ain't happened. You know what I mean? Getting, conflicting information. That's a lot going on. That's a lot to deal with. And I said 24 hours, it sounded like 12 hours. You had a lot going on in a 12-hour period of time that would be overwhelming for the average person. So yeah, that was definitely a lot, and I could see how that had a toll on your body.
Yes, I've been in. I went to the hospital. They kept me a couple hours for observation, and then of course I, been following up with my primary doctor and everything. But it was just it was just a lot. It was a lot.
So do you have any ideas or you have any suspicions? Because Carla said that was sus, what happened, right? So do you have any suspicions about how it is that you ended up, you know how the police ended up at your house because they told you that, but do you know how you ended up receiving a phone call that told you not to report to work? Like
What?
someone who might have made some accusation that would have warranted you being told that you can't come back to work.
Yes, I left this out as well. I did receive information from those four board members that called that Anna did call Dr. Fulton. So in between that time,
Oh, so I think Jimmy is frozen for right now. Hopefully, the
Fulton is now.
connection. Okay, you were frozen for a little bit, so we didn't hear. So last thing we heard was that Anna called Dr. Fulton, and that was it. So repeat what you said after that.
Yes, Anna called Dr. Fulton. I don't know They don't know what the conversation. I don't know what the conversation was, but if she called Dr. Fulton trying to make a complaint with me, which these are two separate entities, school board and Broward Teachers Union, two separate entities. One does not go with the other. She made it a school board issue. Entity. She made it a school board issue. So yeah, she made it a school board issue, which it wasn't.
And so you think from that phone call, that's what led to you eventually getting a call from your principal, even though your principal don't know who called and told him to tell you not to come to work?
Yes, I believe it did. I did.
Okay.
It did.
And so what recourse do you have? What, if anything, you're going to be able to do, or to try to get some resolution or get to the bottom of what your suspicions are? What is it that you're going to do or can do to find out what happened?
I really don't know at this particular point. Just want to, just getting legal advice and seeing what direction we can go in, because this should not have to happen to anyone that works for the district. Everyone that works for the district should be treated equally, should be treated fairly, no matter what position they're in, no matter who they are. If their son or daughter, how would you feel? The police coming to your house, not being able to, being called to say you can't come to work, and you've been working for the district for 22 years. That's
And the same school for 17.
Same school, 17.
And I know how those Dillard people are. Y'all like real proud of this whole Dillard thing. You know what I mean? I'm from the 305, so we it's a little different there, but I know Dillard don't play. So I guess it's an honor to be part of that historic institution in Broward County, and to be told
also,
that
I'm an alumni.
You're an alumni on top of that? Oh, yeah. Okay. So we already know that that's a whole problem, that you couldn't go to work there.
But I am definitely, I'm not going to stop. They're going to hear from me. I will be speaking at the school board meeting next Tuesday.
What you gonna talk about, Jimmy?
I'm talking about everything, everything that we've just discussed, and how how unfair.
They only gonna give you 3 minutes now, so you're gonna have to reduce it to 3 minutes.
Well, I need you to come and then relinquish me your 3 minutes. Sign up now.
I need to sign up and give you 3.
Sign up right now. Anyone on here, y'all go there, and sign up, and then stand up and relinquish your 3 minutes to me, that I can continue my story.
Somebody gonna do it. Somebody gonna do it for you to make sure you get to because it seemed like it's a lot of stuff. I was very vocal about something that happened at the school board prior to the election as it relates to another employee. I don't think the board I really don't think the district handled the situation well. I also don't think the board handled it well. And so, I think the fact that more people are speaking up about it, upper management may start to realize a lot of the problems that's going on, because they probably don't know, because people are probably living in fear. No one can really afford to give up their salary and give up their checks right now. So instead of, talking about the things that were happening, they may have been like, you know what, I just got to get through these days. Let me get through these years. Let me get in the drop. Let me go on about my business. Right. But now it's getting to the point where it's a tad bit out of control. Right. And so people are starting to hold on to feeling that they have the power to go ahead and speak, and hopefully as they vocalize, they don't have to worry about the retaliation that may come as a result of them speaking about some of the things that are happening.
Yes.
So definitely. So all right, so Jimmy's gonna be at the board meeting on Tuesday, September the 10th. Any of y'all who have time, go ahead and go to the board meeting. If you're having similar experiences, go ahead and lend voice to that, because you want to give management an opportunity sometimes to fix a problem, because they may not know. They may not know that these things are happening, and if they become aware of it, they can probably put systems in place and try to work on ways to go ahead and address that. So, I think the days of suffering in silence are slowly, going away.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. And so you're going to figure out how they can have some elections with
Yes.
BTU to see if it needs new management.
Yes. We speaking up. We're talking out. Um,
Uh,
we're definitely going to do that. Yes.
okay. Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to say about what's going on, about the school board? Are you hopeful with what's going to happen come November? You
I
know,
at this point, I don't know. I really don't know how everything is going to turn out with those that are part of the district, those that have won the election, and then those that are presently on there. I don't know. It's going to be it's going to be difficult trying to get things because from the looks of it, um, our BTU the BTU president has a relationship with the majority of those persons that are on the board. And when I say a relationship, um, all huggy, kissy, 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 with them. And so that's what at least that's what it appears to be.
mm-hmm.
So, you know, she may I don't know. I don't know. I'm not hopeful that that it's going to be fair and that it's going to be treated that we're going to be treated fairly, employees across the district.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about. We got a few more minutes. I'm gonna talk about some of the comments that are in the chat. Might have a couple questions for you. One of the questions was like, does the general consensus of the union feel that the president represents them all? Why not? Do you think most of the people who are part of the union believe that the president, Anna Fusco, you said her name, represents them? And if so, why? And if not, why not?
I don't think they do. They don't believe that she does. There are quite a few employees that I've talked to, and they've commented on my posts. They feel that she's very arrogant. They feel that she is one-sided at times, and yes, they don't feel confident in her leadership.
Okay. And so the part about being one-sided. So Charlie Hall, and he ran for, I believe, clerk of court
Oh,
against Brenda Foreman. He
yeah.
says, like, during his political campaign, he was never contacted for an endorsement interview from BTU, even though he had reached out to the president to try on several occasions to try to be interviewed to see if they were going to interview all of the candidates based on what the candidates presented, whether or not there would be an endorsement. But he said only to find out that they had endorsed one of his opponents after seeing the BTU endorsement cards that were being distributed. Right. So it appears, though, some of what you said about they don't bring endorsements to membership. It's just a few folks decide who it is that they want to endorse, and they go ahead and endorse them and put the BTU stamp on there, even though maybe the majority of the membership may not have wanted that person. Want that to be the person that was endorsed by BTU. So there's some confirmation. I mean, it's probably some other people may have a different experience, but some of what you said, there's a candidate who said that they reached out, tried to get an endorsement, didn't hear back from anyone, but BTU did in fact end up endorsing someone.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And then, there's some comments about, sometimes people have power and they allow it to go to their head. So thank you so much for coming and talking about that. Do you have any last comments? Because I am going to ask you about Kamala before I let you go.
No, no. I'm hopeful that everything is going to work out, for my good, as it relates to the situation that's going on, and I'm hopeful that that people will value people and start to look at people differently as it relates to you know their jobs. They love what they do, and and support people. If you don't like them, or if you have something against someone, don't don't um don't don't say one thing openly and then behind the scenes you're bashing them or you're saying other stuff. And that's what a lot of things I believe that has been going on within our school district. And we, those things need to be taken care of. They need to be dealt with. If you don't like someone, then that's your prerogative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
definitely don't try to come for somebody's livelihood and their freedom. I
no.
mean, that's absolutely too much. So is Kamala going to be president
I
come
believe
November
so.
5th?
I believe so.
Tell me why you believe so.
I believe that she's doing a great job. She,
Mm-hmm.
her grassroots campaigning is second to none at this particular point, and just listening to her speak, we need someone as our president that can speak to the concerns of the people and not just speak at the people. And so listening to her, how she delivers her message, her platform is very clear as it relates to those things that she's looking to do. So I believe that she's a great candidate.
Yeah, and I think I moved a little too fast going on to Kamala because there's some other examples that I'm getting about non union members being endorsed. When some folks was running against wholeness in 2022.
Me and myself
You
and
ran in 2020, but you didn't. Yeah, you ran in 2020. In 22, I think it was Burgess, Ruth Carter
Virgil.
Lynch, and a bunch of other
I
folks.
was I was there.
You was in that 2022 race also.
Yeah, because all of us. She didn't. Matter of fact, we didn't even have a meeting. Um, we didn't even get a. Well, I didn't get a meeting. They just endorsed Jeff. But you had myself, Burgess. We worked for the district. Uh,
Yeah,
but I don't even remember being a part of a meeting or being asked to come to a meeting
to determine who they were
to
going to
determine
endorse.
who they're going to endorse. Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. And even like in the they endorsed I think they said they endorsed like Rod Velez for that District 1 seat. And that, there's someone that was in that race that was also a union member and they weren't endorsed. So there's countless examples of union management just deciding who it is they want to endorse without having the organization make a decision. Like I'm part of several clubs that do caucuses and clubs that do endorsements, but they have meetings. The people have to come present their case. We vote. They got to get 67% of the club to say yes, go ahead and endorse. And if they don't meet that threshold, they won't endorse them. That person can have 65%. They were like, nope, you didn't meet the threshold. We cannot endorse you. So it's not only just the executive part of the club that makes it, it's membership that does that. And that's definitely something that, I don't know how the BTU is chartered and whether or not they're allowed to do that, but that could be concerning, and I can see how that's concerning to many of folks.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the other things like someone sent me a message that you mentioned that Angela Fulton was the second person in charge. Isn't that Valerie Wanza? Isn't that her position? Like what is Wanza's position? I thought she was higher up in admin there.
No, well, from the if I'm mistaken, but from what I understand now, that there's been a shift in the organizational chart, and
Okay.
that's where she's at now. Um,
Okay, so
that's where
Fulton is second in charge, and then where's Wanza on this chart?
she's a little lower. I don't know what exactly happened, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she's not. I don't know. I don't want to say it, but say exactly because I don't know.
You know what her title is, but you know that she's just not second in
Yeah,
command in the school district.
yeah, yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much for spending some time with me on my birthday. I didn't mind. So for my
Yeah,
birthday, I need y'all to go ahead and join. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel for Racing the Races. If y'all want to give me some gifts, that's the gifts that I'll take today. I
yeah,
don't need nothing else. Just go ahead and
yeah,
subscribe to the channel.
yeah.
On Racing the Races on YouTube. I had dropped the link earlier in the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in there again. So just go ahead and subscribe to Racing the Races, and that's all I'm gonna ask for today. And so thank you so much, Jimmy, for spending this time with me. And I'm glad you said that Kamala is gonna win because we need her too. And so we need folks to go ahead and volunteer. You can make some phone calls. You can send some text messages. You can, canvas. They have some postcarding campaigns that are happening. You can get involved in that. And I want to remind you of some deadlines. The deadline to register to vote is October the 7th, because you have to register some 30 days before the election. The deadline to register to vote is October 7th, 2024. The deadline to request your vote by mail ballot is October 24, 2024. Early voting is going to be from October the 21st to November the 3rd. And it's actually going to be from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. in Broward County, which is good. And I think part of the reason why they haven't all 12 hours is because they're expecting a higher voter turnout because of Kamala being on the ballot. And of course, election day is November 5th, 2024. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for spending time. Thank you, Jimmy, for coming and hopping on with me. And with such short notice, I appreciate you sharing your story. I hope you, you get the right resolution for what's going on. I hope you're also inspiring others that if they're facing some of the same situation, that they go ahead and speak about it, because unless, it's known, then, it's more difficult in order for those issues to be addressed. And we do want to make sure, that people, whatever concerns that they have are in fact being addressed. Okay. So thank you again. And you get to get the last word. You get the last word.
I appreciate you for allowing me to come on, to utilize this, this time, this space to share my story, and pray that someone else, those that are a part of the school district, that you all speak up. Don't be afraid to voice your opinion, because your opinion is just your opinion. That's how you feel, and no one can stop how you feel about a situation. So I want to say to those that are listening, don't be afraid. Share your opinion. Speak up.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. Have a good night.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Elections have consequences.
Good night.